Hello, everyone. I'm Pamela Marshall at the Wellness Radio TV and at the Wellness Radio TV podcast. I am so glad you joined us tonight because you are in store for a fantastic show. My guest tonight, all the way in Collierville, Tennessee, right outside of Memphis, Captain Voresa Booker. I like to affectionately call her Cousin Captain because she's my cousin. And I am so happy to salute and honor her tonight because she is living Black history. Captain Booker, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Sisters of Wellness.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. What have you been up to? You retired. I know you got back involved with your alma mater, Lane College at HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
Look, before we get there, with what you have done, Captain Booker, becoming a captain when there were so few women still in the Navy, but to rise to the rank as captain and knowing what you had to do when you heard that Kamala Harris was going to be the Vice President of the United States, what did that do to you, for you, as an African-American woman watching and knowing what what you have faced, and what was that experience like for you when you heard that?
I was so excited the minute President-elect Biden announced that she was going to be his vice president. Not only is she my D9 sister, but being a Black female, words can't describe how elated I was. Like, I'm sure many of us were.
Yeah, and HBCU.
Yes.
She's from Howard. You're
yes.
from Lane College.
Yes.
And the whole, it's almost as if it just everything that we needed from an African American on that level. A woman, she's representing the Divine Nine. She has been the first in so many areas.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, as you talk to other women in the military, what is it that you all say to each other about how you're navigating? And I use the word navigating. You were in the Navy for 30 years,
mm-hmm.
served the United States Navy for 30 years, wearing the cloth of the nation, proudly wearing the cloth of the nation. When you all are cheering each other on or encouraging each other, what does it mean to see another woman move forward?
Well, the more senior you get as a Black female naval officer, there are fewer and fewer of you around. So more often than not, like me, we're one of the only ones in the boardroom or the only one. So we have to keep each other encouraged. And I still have mentees in the Navy, believe it or not. And I'm actually traveling to Florida to promote one of my mentees to captain. I met her when she was a little young lieutenant, and the thought of her putting on captain just excites me. Yeah.
Well, and so you talk about having other mentees. How critical is that for you in the role that you have played in the Navy and then the work that you're doing at your alma mater? How important is that for you?
It is extremely important. As you know, Pam, I mean, you're my cousin. You know that I grew up dirt poor with a single mom. So if you look at the socioeconomic status, we were poor.
Voresa, I'd like to correct you on that because I thought you all were rich because you all had indoor plumbing. We were still using the Jackson Sun. So you lived in the city, we lived in the country. So, poverty on a different kind of level, but you had indoor plumbing. So you were my uppity cousin.
Oh, really? So it's all relative. There were days when we didn't know where our next meal would come from. At least you guys had cows and pigs, so you could just go out there and slaughter something.
And
but
chickens.
Some nights we went to bed with just cornbread on our stomachs. So I thought you guys were the rich cousins.
That's funny because you know what? We would have cornbread and molasses.
Well, and seriously, for me, being a first generation college graduate, my grandmother had a third grade education. My mom did graduate from high school, but having the need for mentors to kind of help me navigate. I always dreamed of going to college, but didn't know how I was going to do that. And I actually was a part of an Upward Bound program at Lane College, and that was the first time I actually thought that there was an opportunity for me to go to college. So going through Upward Bound and having mentors like Miss Owens, Miss Hewitt, all my Sarais in Jackson, that kind of helped guide my path. And I just thank God for Lane College, and I thank God for those mentors. But because of Lane College but because of God, I'm sitting where I am today. So I'm obligated to give back. I have to be a mentor. I have to give back to my alma mater because my alma mater gave so much to me.
What was the toughest thing for you? You talked about growing up with a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
As you look back on that, and we said goodbye to your mom a few months ago, my aunt advisor, a beautiful spirit, beautiful soul, who inspired so many people herself.
Yes.
What do you think? You said you had no idea, even though Lane College was in your hometown where you grew up. You went to Jackson Central Mary High School.
Yes.
Played basketball there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Risa, let me ask you something. Risa, you used to suck your thumb.
See, you didn't have to go there, Pam.
I just have a question. I have a
Okay.
question. They said you used to dribble the ball.
No, that's not true.
That you would be on the basketball court.
I didn't suck my thumb in public.
Go ahead.
But seriously, growing up so poor and just feeling like you thought we were poor, and I mean you thought we were rich. I thought you were rich. So growing up really poor and not really having anything, wearing hand-me-downs all the time, just really did something to my self-esteem. And so I just never felt worthy, never felt that I measured up. And again, I have to give a lot of credit to Lane College because of what Lane instilled in me. I got more than an education there. There are more intrinsic values to going to an HBCU than meets the eye. So I don't know, just feel like and going back to being in those board meetings, being the only one or one of the only ones, having gone to Lane College and, standing on the shoulders of giants like Dr. McClure, Bishop Isaac Lane, made me, stand up a little taller and handle my business in those meetings because I knew I was somebody just based on a lot of the, the things that were instilled in me while I was at Lane.
To say that you never felt that you measured up, how is it? I mean, you're a tall, beautiful girl, played basketball, did well. You're very smart in school. What was it that caused you to feel like you didn't measure up?
Oh, Pam, it goes all the way back to elementary school. I was the tallest one in the class, taller than most of the teachers. I wore a size 10 shoe probably in the 4th or 5th grade, long, lanky arms. I just never felt like I fit in. And, it wasn't until I actually started playing basketball and started gravitating toward other taller girls. Now, today, I don't feel this tall because I have a 6'1" daughter and a daughter that's 5'11". So I'm the short one in the bunch. But back then, I just felt, I used to walk with my shoulders slumped over. And I remember Gertrude Copeland was, she's extremely tall from Jackson, Tennessee. Gertrude used to fuss at me all the time. Stand up, hold your head up, girl, you're beautiful. So.
Yeah. And so for someone who felt that they didn't measure up, what gave you the courage to even think that you could be in this man's Navy and not just be in it, but become an officer? Where did that come from?
I have to say a lot of it came from my mother. Yes, we were dirt poor, but she kind of gave me my moral compass just based on, the love and nurturing. And again, I give a lot of that credit to Lane College because that's when I really feel like I started to blossom. But when I joined the Navy, I was only planning to stay for 3 or 4 years because I just wanted to travel and see the world. But I was in for like a year and a half, applied for the officer program, went to officer candidate school. And before I knew it, I was just thrown into all these jobs. So, we all start off with this in our little small comfort zone. And the more that's thrown at you, the more people you're asked to lead, the bigger your comfort zone gets. So I started out as an ensign with 2 people working for me. And when I retired as a Commodore for Navy Recruiting Region West, I had 3,100 people working for me.
Wow.
And I was responsible for all the states west of the Mississippi River in terms of Navy recruiting. So, yeah.
Wow.
And before I knew it, my comfort zone had expanded exponentially.
Territory had enlarged.
Yeah, absolutely.
My guest tonight is retired Navy Captain Voresa Booker in Memphis, Tennessee, in the Memphis, Tennessee area. Our guest on Sisters of Wellness. So our goal is to sow back into the lives of other young women, men. You have 2 daughters and a son, Nakai, and your husband, Mr. Harold Booker. When you are, for so many women who are navigating this journey, and you have a family, how did you make that balance? How did you balance all of that?
Being in the military, we always talk about the sacrifices that we make, but I would tell you some of the greatest sacrifices are made by the family, the kids and the spouse, because they have to give up a lot. With each move, they're having to walk away from friends that they've met. The hardest move was I was the commanding officer in Nashville. We moved from there to Memphis, and I was at Millington as the head detailer for the HR community. Victoria was going into her senior year. She was captain of her basketball team, and to have to snatch her out and then bring her into a brand new environment. So it's really hard for the families. But I just, have to give kudos to those kids. I mentioned that I was a first generation graduate, but to have all 3 of my babies with college degrees and my youngest daughter with a PhD from Vanderbilt. I mean, I just, that's nothing but God, Pam, nothing but God.
Right. And then your other daughter, who I remember her saying to me that her desire to be an activist. Mm-hmm. And she certainly is doing that in the arts world.
Yes. I call her my little Angela Davis.
How fitting.
Yes.
How fitting.
Yes. And she's doing a phenomenal job with a nonprofit she started. She's the executive director for a nonprofit called The Collective here. And she's helping Black artists in Memphis find their voice and it's, a safe platform for them. Yeah.
Speaking of artists, I'm sure you all have discussed that wonderful Amanda Gorman.
Oh, yes.
What was that conversation about as Amanda performed not only the presidential inauguration, but the very first poet to perform at the Super Bowl?
Absolutely. We were all, just elated. We're on the move. Black girls rock.
Well, and I'm looking here because I'm sharing this show. I'm not paying attention, but I'm sharing. I want as many people to see you tonight, Captain Booker, because you do rock, and rocking at a time when there were not a lot of people looking like you. What do you say, even though we now have all of these things that are happening and doors that are opening, and President Biden making appointments of so many women of color? What do you say to young women today as you continue to mentor about what they can do, what they can accomplish?
Yes. I mean, sky is the limit. You can do whatever you want if you set your mind to it. Looking back at my life, I graduated from high school with honors, but guess what? I scored a 13 on my ACT.
Did you really?
Yes, ma'am, I did. And so if you look at statistics, I was not supposed to go to college and certainly was not supposed to be one of 26 Black female naval officers. If I can do it, anybody can do it. You just have to want to do it. And again, I think having a sound mentor in your life makes all the difference in the world. It did for me.
Yeah, that score is amazing.
Yes.
And considering, and it also speaks to how unrepresentative those tests are.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes for African American students, and they see a score like that, and they think they cannot achieve. But what do you say to young people? And so many times for us, I took the test, but our parents didn't know to get us tutoring.
Right.
To take the test.
Exactly.
These kids that are making really, really high scores, many of them have had the opportunity to test over and over again. All we knew to do was go take the test.
Yes. And we couldn't take it again because we couldn't afford to. The first one was free.
I was about to say, trying to scrap up the money to take it to begin with.
Right.
Oh, the first one was free. That's how I took it. Okay, thank you. And then you have to pay the second time.
Correct. Yeah.
So for young people who may see that score, how did you get around that, Voresa?
Lane College, I'm telling you, best kept secret in the world. After taking that test, I wanted to go to college, but I knew I wouldn't go to college. Ms. Hewitt was the director of WELLness at the time. And I went up there to get my last $7.50 stipend. They used to give us a $5 bill, 2 singles, and a Kennedy 50-cent piece. And so I went up there to get my last stipend. And she said, "What are you doing this summer?" I said, "Nothing." I had on some cutoff shorts and a basketball under my arm. Had just graduated from high school. And she said, "Well, you're about to do something now. You're going to college." She took me straight to admissions. I don't even remember filling out the application for college. I'm sure I did, but Bound paid for that first summer. I had a 4.0 the first summer, and then I got the basic educational opportunity grant. She helped me fill out all that paperwork. I'm telling you, mentors and people who believe in you will make all the difference in the world for a little colored girl like me, who is looking for some guidance.
Wow. You know what? You never told me that story.
That's my story.
That's, you know what? And for so many kids who might have looked at that score and said, "I'm doomed.
I'm doomed." Yes.
And for all of the mamas and grandmamas and aunts and uncles who are watching, who have young people in your family, that's the best place to start mentoring.
Exactly.
Is with the young people in your family, and to encourage them and to assure them. I mean, think about it, a 13, and then your first semester you had 4.0.
Yes. And so that is why I feel so compelled to give back to Lane College. I'm, currently serving, as you know, the president of the National Alumni Association. And before COVID shut us down, I spent a lot of time on the campus with the pre-alumni council, just, hanging out with them. And anytime they would ask me to come speak, I'm there, because I just feel there's so many students at that school, and not just Lane, but many HBCUs who look like me, walk like me, talk like me, but just having just a few people in your life to encourage you will make all the difference in the world. And not that my mother discouraged me; she was there. But you can only stretch a person as far as you are, and that's where all my other mentors and other people in my life picked up the pieces.
And also, when you talk about HBCUs and how instrumental that was in you being who you are today, a captain, a retired captain from the United States Navy, when at a time when, I mean, still today, only 19% of the population in the Navy is women, only 19%. And so you retired in August of
2013.
2000, you retired after 30 years.
Yes.
For schools like Lane College, or other, even if the students are going to other schools, it is so critical that if there is a church family that can be involved in that child's life, because still today, the graduation rate is lax. Even at some of the better schools, only 40% of the freshmen will actually graduate because there's so many challenges that they face.
Yes.
And so
through no fault of their own.
Through no fault of their own.
Yes.
So as the president of the National Alumni Association for Lane College, how do you all work with other alumni chapters of HBCUs to help bridge that gap for those young people who may come in as eager-eyed freshmen or scared freshmen and don't make it to graduation? How do we change that?
So we're working closely with the UNCF. There are several HBCUs that are considered UNCF schools. And we didn't have a conference this year because of COVID. But in years past, the pre-alumni council from each of the UNCF schools come together, do workshops, and they're training them. And they also have this thing they call Project Stay, where the kids, the seniors in each of these UNCF schools actually walk across the stage. They give them a tassel to wear when they actually graduate from their colleges. And it's called Project Stay because we want those students to then turn around and give back. And that's how we keep this going as alum. And I mean, I have to be honest with you, when I graduated from Lane, went to the military, if I had sent Lane $100 or $200, I thought I was doing something. But, as Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you do better. And so we have to give back to our HBCUs if we want them to survive. And they play such a viable part in our lives. I mean, again, but God, but Lane College, but my mother, I'm sitting here.
My guest tonight is retired U.S. Navy Captain Voresa Booker. I affectionately call her Captain Cousin, and proud to salute and call her Captain Cousin. Thank you all who are watching across the country. Ty, stand back. Navonda Jackson and Larry Jackson. She must have gone. Do you know Ty? She must have gone to school with Navonda.
Oh, I don't know her.
Well, thank you. I know Ty. Ty has been working in government for a number of years. And Ty, thank you so much for watching. And then Hazel Fuller, I'm so proud of you. Awesome, beautiful double cousin. Did you all play basketball together?
Huh?
Did you play basketball with Hazel?
No, she's older than me.
Well, who is it? There is a girl that's a Fuller that you play basketball with.
Paulette.
Paulette, that's who I was. Is that her daughter?
Paula Fuller. No, cousin.
Cousin, okay.
Yes.
That's who I was thinking about, Hazel. And then our cousin in Texas, Josette Golette. She's having a virtual fashion show coming up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have to make sure that we tune in for that February 28th. Thank you all for watching and sharing. We're talking about this journey that Captain Cousin Booker has been on. coming from very, very meager beginnings to retiring as captain. And, you know, Voresa, I'm not trying to put your business in the street or anything,
Yes,
but God has to.
you always do. Go ahead. Let me brace myself.
Oh, but I will just tell you how much I enjoy pulling up to the place that you and Harold call home there in Collierville. It is amazing what God has done in both of your lives, and when you're working with Lane College and other people across the country who are working with our young people, we still have a rate that is unacceptable of African Americans that are incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
When January 6th happened, you wore the cloth of the nation with pride. And to be watching television as January 6th unfolded, can you tell me what that felt like for you? You raised your right hand to swear to protect this country from foreign and domestic, and
Yes.
to see what was happening in our nation's capital. What were you thinking?
Well, not to get too political, but I will just
Well,
say
just as an American, as a human.
I look at them as domestic terrorists, period. I mean, to go into the Capitol, waving not only the American flag, but rebel flags, the whole 9 yards, it was despicable. I mean, it was heartbreaking to me.
Yeah, yeah. I actually had to walk away because I was thinking about African Americans that were incarcerated watching this, who did much less.
Right.
And as you have been in this arena where you moved through the ranks, can you talk about what you faced as a woman and as an African American woman in this very male dominated military?
Well, I would just say that again, as I became more senior, there were fewer people who looked like me, and I would say I held my own. But I did have a couple reporting seniors that didn't look up on me as favorable as they should have, and I'm trying to stay positive here, but I would just say that. More often than not, when I walked through the door, they didn't see the rank on my collar. They saw the color of my skin. And I felt more often than not, I had to outperform my peers in order to even get ranked among them in terms of evaluations. But I did what I had to do. And 9 times out of 10, I came out on top. Because to me, a lot of my superiors set the bar low, and so it wasn't too hard to step over. But I, was high jumping. It's like, no, if you tell me to give you this project by next week, I'm going to give it to you in 2 days. And I mean, and I did that the entire time. It's to me, it's somewhat stressful, but because that's just the way they've been wired. A lot of them have been wired, and the way we've been wired. You could maybe say it's perception, but my perception is my reality.
And do you feel like you were, because of the low expectation, that pushed you harder?
Yes. Yes. And it's just so weird because a lot of times as an African American, we truly feel like we're carrying the weight of our race on our shoulders because we know how a lot of people view us. And so when you go into a job like that, too much is given, much is required. So more often than not, I think we tend to overperform. I will speak for myself. I know I did.
And it's pretty obvious. You spent 30 years in the Navy, and they were still wanting you to stay
Yes.
longer.
Yes.
What was the deciding factor for you to walk away? How old were you?
um, that was
So you're like
83. So I was 53. 53.
53.
30 years is enough. And I think having built a home here, most of my family is here. My mom wasn't in the best of health. And, having a 30-year successful career, like I said, I retired as Commodore for Navy Recruiting Region West. And that was like the pinnacle of my career. The next stop would have been going to the Pentagon, maybe, being a staffer. And it was just time to turn it in.
Do you have any regrets?
Absolutely not. No, ma'am.
Did you, what was that first week like of retirement for you after having had the drive that you had?
The For months, I think that Sunday, when I would always get up, preparing my uniforms, just, getting everything ready, I'd be sitting on the couch, it's like, oh, I don't have anywhere to go. And so, I spent a lot of time volunteering, and a lot of those volunteer jobs started to feel like full-time jobs with no pay. But, because I had the time, because I had the experience and the wherewithal, I felt the need to volunteer. So,
And we have a cousin in Meaden, Tennessee that's watching, Carolyn Diane.
hi, Carolyn.
Marshall Wilkes, thank you for watching, cousin Diane. And here we go. Who is this? Charlotte Dancer.
Yeah, she's from Jackson.
Hey, Charlotte from Jackson. Thank you for your service. We are so proud of you.
Well, thank you, Charlotte.
I appreciate all of you watching and sharing because, this is Black History Month, and we salute my captain cousin Voresa every time we see her. And I think sometimes, especially family, may not really have a great understanding of what it means when we have somebody like Captain Booker to achieve what she has achieved, because we just see her as Risa. And to have someone who will be considered is a history maker, and then to somebody who almost didn't get into anybody's college.
That's right.
Who went to Lane College, did extremely well, and is now the president of the National Alumni Association for Lane College. Captain, when you look in the mirror, what do you see?
A retiree. No, I think, when I look back and reflect back on my life, again, I told you how I had such low self-esteem, just, I almost felt like I wanted to just become invisible more often than not. To go from that to being a retired captain in the United States Navy, I would tell you, I see a child of God. All the time that I felt I was doing the navigating, I was in the passenger seat. God was driving this ship the entire time, and I'm thankful. I'm just blessed beyond measures.
And we have Pastor Royal Colbert, who says that there should be more people like you volunteering. How is it that the Alumni Association encourages that? The alumni associations across the country encourages their alumni to come back and give back.
Mm-hmm. We developed a strategic plan, and we have 5 pillars, and one of the pillars is engagement. And so we are really working hard trying to increase the membership in our National Alumni Association, because I think it is extremely important for all of us to give back. and I don't have a monopoly on these stories. If you talk to, I'm going to say, the majority of the people from Lane College and probably many other their stories are very similar to mine. But because of their college and, they are who they are today. And so many of us forget and, never look back. But we strongly encourage people to, because that's the only way that the college is going to continue, is if we as alumni continue to give back.
Well, what about people who may not have attended an HBCU and
We'll take their money too.
But and I ask that because there are people who may feel like, well, I didn't go there, so I don't need to give anything.
And there are a lot of people involved with UNCF who did not attend an HBCU, but are giving back, are given to the colleges because they understand the need for them. My
sister Catherine in Bellwood, Illinois.
Hi, Catherine.
She says hello. And Ruthie Taylor, thank you for your service, cuz.
Thank you.
Voresa, what do you think it's going to do for HBCUs and the Divine Nine to be represented in the White House?
I think that I won't say it's going to, I say it has put a lot of light on it. There are a lot of people, who are the Divine Nine? What's the AKAs? Who are they? A lot of people have been well educated on HBCUs and see what's coming out of our HBCUs. We don't have Rudy Poo graduates coming out. A lot of people like me have, few choices in terms of college, but once we matriculate, then, we get out there and knock it out the park.
Yeah. I saw a post that had the senator from Georgia, from the HBCU. Yes. Somebody else.
Stacey Abrams.
Oh, and no, Amanda is from Harvard, right?
Yes.
But she's representing us well.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Let's see here. I am also a product of HBCU, St. Augustine University in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was a phenomenal experience that I would not change for anything in the world. They laid the foundation for who I am today.
Yeah, I agree.
Pastor Royal Colbert. And I think that once integration happened, HBUs suffered because African American students could go other places. How do you see that turning around?
My daughters didn't go to an HBCU, and I talked about my 13 on my ACT test. But guess what? Ashley flipped my score. Ashley made a 31. And so she was awarded all kinds of scholarships, and she's probably somewhat cringing because I'm talking about it. But she went to WashU, got a bachelor's, her master's, and then went to Vanderbilt, got her PhD, and she has 0 student loans. So if you can do it, go for it. But, some of us aren't able to do that. So.
And thank goodness for those HBCUs that are welcoming.
Yes.
And creating opportunities and paths for young people to get their undergrad and master's degrees and move on to doing bigger and better things. So, Captain Booker, are there things that you say you look in the mirror and you see a retiree, you see a child of God? Mm-hmm. Are there any things on your list of things that you'd like to do now in your retirement years other than sit on the beach?
Well, I'm doing more than sitting on the beach. I'm telling you.
Well, I know that. Who doesn't want to?
Full time. I'm active in my sorority, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I am literally giving back in every way that I can.
And let me just say this. thank you for giving back. You're not required to do any of it.
Absolutely.
You did 30 years.
Yes.
And if you want to go and sit on the beach or just chill,
Yes.
you've earned the right to do that. But you've elected not to.
Yeah,
And
I
you continue
always
to serve.
say to much is given, much is required. And I just do not believe that God has blessed me to this degree to go. Now I'm going to sit on the beach. Don't don't get me wrong.
And you should.
But then I take a time out from the beach and go to work.
So let's back up a little bit. During that time when you were in the Navy, were there times that you felt like quitting? That, I'm going to just do this, do my time. I don't have time for this foolishness.
Yes, when at the 4-year mark, I was getting out. At the 10-year mark, I think I was going to get out. At the 15-year mark, but with each time that I said I was going to get out, I guess God had a different plan for me, because here comes another promotion. When we were stationed in Tampa, I built a beautiful home, told the girls, this is it. You'll never have to move again. Well, I screamed for command. I said, I'm sorry, we're going to have to move. We got to Nashville. I was commanding officer of the recruiting district there. And this is a stressful job. And so I told the girls, this is it. I'm retiring. I had, I think, 25 years in at that time. Again, I got promoted to captain. Then I screamed for major command. And it's like, I'm sorry, we're going to have to move one more time. And so I never got a look for 07 or for admiral, because I retired before that time came. I was like, this is it. I'm retiring for real at 30.
And so, being over recruiting for the Navy, what do you say to young people today about the opportunities that are afforded them through serving their country, through wearing the cloth of the nation, through raising their right hand, committing to serving and protecting?
It's really interesting. You could go to the military entrance processing station and interview every one of those kids, and almost every one of them will have a different reason for joining. Oh, I'm joining because I'm gonna get a bonus in this particular rating. I'm joining because I want to travel. I'm joining because of school. But at the end of the day, I don't know when it happens, but you cross this imaginary threshold and you're in because of patriotism. You're in because you want to protect and defend your country. And
do you remember when that happened for you?
I think it was probably at about my 10-year mark, and just having such a love for the Navy. It's like I couldn't even imagine doing something different. I said at the 15-year mark, I said, oh, maybe I get out. But, it was just a fleeting thought, because I absolutely loved wearing the cloth of our nation.
That's so inspiring. To that you became it and it became you.
Yes. Yes. And I think if you talk to most retirees, they say the same thing. I have friends right today who did 25, 30 years. They have not let the military go yet after being out for like 10 years. I'm glad I'm not one of those, but a diehard. But, I still love it, but I'm not waking up in the morning to reveille or, doing any of that craziness. I think my husband is.
Booker probably is.
Yeah, he's still command sergeant major.
Yes,
Yeah.
I feel it. I feel it every time I see him.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to stand taller, push my shoulders back.
Yeah.
So Nikila Dodd Van is watching and said, hello, sis. Thank you for your service.
She's from Jackson. She's a Lanite too.
For giving back.
Yeah.
And Brenda Mosley, thank you for your service. And this wonderful little cute girl, Navonda Jackson.
Dr. Navonda Jackson.
Excuse me, Doctor. Your goddaughter.
I'm so proud of that baby girl right there.
Your goddaughter niece.
Yes.
I'm gonna Navonda, Dr. Jackson. I would love to have you on to share your story. I am so proud of the opportunity to speak with people that I call my family, who are people who are doing incredible things in the community that have impacted the local community, but nationally and around the globe. And you certainly have done that, Captain Booker. And I cannot say enough how proud we are of you as your biological family,
Thank you.
as the family that lifts you up from Jackson and Madison County, to your Lane College family, to all of your sisters who wear this brown cloth
Yes.
that we're so proud to wear as well. We salute you and we thank you for the inspiring work that you have done and the inspiring work that you will continue to do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our guest tonight, 30-year retired U.S. Navy Captain Voresa Booker, and also the current president of the Lane College National Alumni Association, continuing to lead, continuing to inspire, and we thank you and we salute you tonight. Did I do it right?
Yeah, close enough.
That's close enough.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you all so much for joining us tonight for this interview and this very inspirational chat with my Captain Cousin Booker. And we look forward to hearing more things from you all with the Alumni Association. As she pointed out earlier, you do not have to have attended an HBCU to make a contribution, because you are investing in the lives of young people who need you financially and your prayers. So whatever you can do to help with HBCUs in your communities and across the country, please do so. And if nothing else, inspire a young person and do what you can do to help them move forward and achieve their God-appointed gifts that they came here to accomplish. Thank you, Captain. Tell
You are
Mr.
cousin.
Tell Mr. Booker I said hello.
I will.
Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We will be here on Thursday for the Timbuktu Report. In the meantime, I'm Pamela Marshall at the Wellness Radio TV and at the Wellness Radio TV podcast. Remember, there is healing at the well. Make it a great moment. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.